Derivatives trading involves substantial risk of loss and is not suitable for all investors. Past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results.
So stressful. And the world's on fire. Good God. I can't look at this, guys. Like, my strategy is you buy it and you hope that you gotta get spotted. Yeah, but we all think you're crazy. You don't fight this. No way. The markets are freaking out and you don't think that anything is wrong? Come back tomorrow and I'll lose it all. Should be fun. Good morning, everybody. It is the 22nd of April. I did not remember that. I had to just look just now. I'm so terrible with dates. Why is it? You would think after 30 years that I would be able to remember. We got, we had a little bit of selling yesterday. But we're like right back where we were. Let's go and look at the charts. So here's our profile. You can see it was really like on the open that they sold. And they really kind of battled it out, even in the extended session. Really messy trading. Pretty frustrating down in this area, actually. And I tell you what, I was a little tired yesterday, and I think that affected my trading. But I think I worked out a couple more bugs in my system yesterday. But now today we're back up again. So yesterday, some sellers were really going ham, and now we're right back up where we were. That's kind of maybe things aren't so bad. I don't know. Of course, they could turn right back down, but we're still pretty constrained. 5K. Oh, maybe I should be sending more than 5. Let's just check that really quick. We start sending 6. There you go. Now we're sending 6. That was easy. All right. Anyways. So. Got a couple of things to do here. Let's see here. Close a bunch of these windows that we don't need anymore. Leave that open. Okay. And Twitter. Oh, yes. We need to open up the text-to-speech. 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 It's just YouTube acting a little bizarre today. That's all. Wonder if we're getting throttled again. Yeah, it looks like we're getting throttled again. Oh, and actually it does show it. That's interesting. It doesn't show it as live, though. What's with that? Kind of weird. Well, anyways. If I come into this one. Now that one shows it's live. Okay, well, whatever. I guess you're watching this on replay. Click that subscribe button. Click the bell icon. Oh, we're definitely getting some indications that they want to start a round of price discovery. I'm not sure which way it goes here, though. I mean, I think it could be. I guess my only choice would be down. I guess need to hold on here. Oh my gosh, what are you doing, Discord?
Daniel K says good morning. Daniel K says, did you adjust the go live time? For me, I was seeing it as approximately 16 hours off.
Approximately 16 hours off. Well, so the way that it works is I can go in and create the stream, and sometimes I do it in the evening and sometimes I do it just before we get started, and it's just kind of depends on where I'm at. And yeah. Anyways, so if you're like came in and you saw it, you should see it just that we're live, right? I don't know if that I probably not making sense. I guess I don't completely understand what you're seeing or what you're asking. You come in this morning, you should just see that we're live right now and that this stream is live. It shouldn't be scheduled at all. But maybe it's showing you the last scheduled one if you came into the live thing or something like that. So maybe we need to fix that. But it's just being kind of weird. Like I see your comment and everything, but it just looks kind of weird. I don't know how to describe it. Okay, so a little bit up there. I am tempted to take this spot, but I think we can wait. Like we've got another spot up here. Okay. Oh, look, it just shot right through it right there.
Daniel K says 10 minutes before you go live, you show up in my YouTube dashboard as a scheduled event.
Oh, see, it shouldn't be showing up. It's weird.
Daniel K says, and it says starts in 16 hours. It really starts in 10 minutes every day, but it says starts in 16 hours.
That is weird. I don't know why it would do that. Tomorrow, I'll tell you what. Tomorrow, I will make sure to have the event scheduled, and then you should see that it starts in 10 minutes correctly. Okay, so I'm seeing some signs of continuation here, but like they're fighting it. Like I saw everything that I think I want to see to take along here. They're fighting it. It's okay. I can see the treasuries dropping pretty hard on that one too, by the way. Oh, did I not? Man, I guess it didn't save everything. I made a few changes yesterday and to my workspace. Anyways, this one should be offers. This one should be bits. And then over here on this one, I removed this back data series because it was just causing noise. And these levels, I turned the price markers on and I removed all of the labels. Because I really hate seeing that stuff up at the top. Okay. Have a little click on that one. This one down here. Oh, I have the levels on here. I should do the price marker on that one.
Winston's mom says good morning, speculator Seth ready for another adventure in trading here in our new normal. Hello, everyone.
Well, I'd say today feels more normal than normal. I slept a lot better last night at least. That wasn't perfect. I tell you what, I woke up in the middle of the night and I was having a dream about like remodeling the bathroom, and which makes no sense. And there was a helicopter trying to surveil me or something, and I woke up and I could hear a helicopter. So I was incorporating that in the dream. But this helicopter was like slow flying over the valley. So like you could hear it. It was just going forever and ever. I don't know what they're doing. But and then the baby had like a real fit last night. I think that he's getting a lot of gas. I think he wasn't eating quite enough, so we've been supplementing a little bit, and now that we're supplementing him, he's always complaining about having gas and stuff. But overall, I think I got enough sleep. I got ready faster. I feel more on the ball. I took something here. I feel a little nervous about it, but I feel like I did what I was supposed to do. And I'm just kind of trying to manage it here, and I'm okay with it. So yeah. Ooh, I should also change this thing down here. This is a column that I had it set to like adjust to the width of the bar, but I have since determined that it don't like that. Aha. And my little change, I made a change yesterday to one of my indicators. This is the nice
Winston's mom says, a helicopter flying over the valley. I wonder if you feel like someone is watching you. They might land if you don't remodel the bathroom. Mrs. Speculator Seth will be happy with your dream bathroom.
No, my bathroom is already like my dream. I don't know what I would do to change it. I have a shower when we had it built. We wanted a shower with two shower, so we have a shower with two shower heads. We need to get a better shower head for the top one, but there's two shower heads in there. It's my dream bathroom. Don't know why I was and I wasn't remodeling it like nice. I was doing like a remodel that was like an experimental to show people how water pipes worked or something. It was weird. Anyways, we're not going to be remodeling. we're gonna build a chicken coop. If we build anything, it's gonna be a chicken coop here soon. She really wants a chicken coop because we were letting the chickens wander around the yard, and apparently that is ruins your grass because they poop everywhere. And but she feels bad if we keep them in the tiny coop that we have right now. So she really wants to build a coop and a run. So I'm sure that we'll do that here in a few weeks.
Winston's mom says we move about every 5 years and we always remodel up or build a home. I have begun dreaming we move into big giant project homes that have a hidden room. I am not moving again, despite my dreams.
That would be cool. Hey, I could make one of my rooms down in the basement a hidden room. That would be cool. I think it would be pretty obvious to anybody where it would be at, though. I don't know. I had a friend that his father worked in sales for Microsoft, and they did pretty well, and they moved away, but then they moved back closer when I was older, and I went and visited them, and they had a really, really nice house. The thing that was funny about their new house was that they had a huge laundry room with like double washers and double dryers. And there was so many clothes in that room.
Bot says hand waving good morning.
But anyways, they had a hidden room in there, and it was so cool. It was like a hidden room off of his study. I thought that was way cool. Good morning, John. So we had an interesting setup here today. I saw it building up down in the 2758, 2760 area, kind of some outside bars forming and everything like that. And I'm kind of was just looking at everything else and seeing that they might try and make a move along. And then sure enough, they did. But I waited until they reached the hour. So basically they closed the hour by going back into the open of the hour. And now since then they've kind of been ranging back and forth around that new open. So I'm just kind of holding it here. And it might be like this for a bit. And I am trying to manage my stop a little bit better. So John and I were discussing yesterday how to manage the stops better. So I've been doing that, but I'm doing it based off of a 5-minute chart. So I have it down there. Maybe we'll move it at some point. This one, I'm so like there's that 65 area. It's a little too close.
Bot says, was it the 1-minute chart you used to base your entry on?
I guess really I am looking at the 1-minute chart more than anything. Because I guess, well, I mean, there was some outside bars on the 5-minute chart as well. But I don't think that I would have seen it if I wasn't looking at the 1-minute chart. But I waited until we were above both my moving average and the open of the hour. So I probably could have gotten in much earlier. Like, I think that I could have gotten in when we broke the EMA at like 2762. That was kind of my inkling at the time, and of course it kind of went through, so I kind of felt dumb, but I was like, well, the system we're trading says that we should be able to take it from there, so let's just do it.
Bot says, did you see that 3-1-2 reversal at 2760.50?
Yes. Well, let's see here. I mean, that's oh wait, outside bar, inside bar. Oh yeah. Yeah, that's exactly kind of what I was looking at. I wasn't even necessarily seeing that as what you're talking about. I don't have the pen. Where is it? I think you're talking about this cluster right here, right? Or maybe this one. This is a no. This is an outside bar. This is a 3. This is an inside bar. This is a 1, and this is a 2. Let's move it up.
Bot says that's a nice setup when they happen close to the recent low.
Yeah. Well, that's what I was saying. I thought when it crossed right here, I was like, hey, that's not a bad spot. But our qualifications were that we needed to be up on the hour. So I waited until we were up on the hour, which is right here. So when we got in there, then I got in. Hey, look at it. This is going. Okay, so now I can move it up to definitely move it up here. In fact, soon we'll be able to move it even more. But okay. I should look here on the volume profile.
Bot says agreed, that 50 cross you circled is a decent reference.
Yeah, but the system was you got to be above the hour. So we waited. I waited. I think though, maybe when we're better at it, more experienced and more comfortable with it, maybe we could take that one then. But I digress. Feeling pretty positive about
Bot
it.
says, and now you're up on your hour open entry.
The way this is setting up on the bigger picture though, I find really interesting, right? Because yesterday when they were selling, I remember telling John like they're really going ham with those shorts. Like when they started selling after the open yesterday, holy crap. They sold it. They were so aggressive. And it was like they had all time frames and they just went down and they went for it, you know? And then overnight they kind of battled around where they closed. The close was really, really messy in the ES. And then they're up a little bit. And now here coming into, well, I guess this particular move,
Bot
it
says
can
note the ZB selling down in the first 30 minutes today.
Yeah. Well, so that's another thing is that as this move started, the treasuries really started to fall down fast. I mean, look at when I was looking over at it, and I was like, well, I wonder if I should sell the treasuries, and it was at 0.5 half in the 10-year, and now they're at 0.1 half. So the treasuries are moving hard. But this whole kind of setup is like yesterday. I think that sellers were looking at yesterday as like, okay, this is where the real sell off begins again. And now today in the morning session before they open, we're getting signs that no, they're not done. So we'll see what they do on the open, of course. That's always going to be the most
Bot
important.
says, have you tried trading the 10-year Ultra, symbol TN?
Well, somebody asked me that last week. I think maybe that's why they were talking about it in Discord, but I'm kind of wondering why. Other than that, maybe the queue is smaller. I'm just don't see the advantage of trading TN versus ZN. I mean, is there really even a difference in their movement? I guess we could go and look and see if there's a spread on it.
Bot says it moves a lot nicer than the zinc. Some decent moves, not those twists in the wind stalls that make you choke.
But I like the stalls. I don't know. If we weren't doing all of this stuff, I think I would be going back and looking at the 10-year because it started to go where I look at the chart and I look at the level 2 and I
Bot
think I know
says
where it's going
lol.
to go. I feel like I think I know where it's going to go, and I feel like I
Bot says
understand
I
where I
like
was
the
screwing up.
stalls.
I liked where we were screwing up, and or I knew where we were screwing up, and I know how to fix it. And so I'm like, okay, it would be nice to try the 10-year,
Bot
and it
says
looks
because.
like. Well, so I just like that I can hold a really, really tight risk. Like if it stalls and it's in a 2-point range, I look at that as like, especially if it's like slow and there's not a lot of people getting in, I look at that as like okay, here's a place where I can get in. And if I have some edge that gives me a reasonable probability of it moving from there, then I can get in there and the crowd will come in after me. And when it breaks out of there, I should be able to get a decent run. You just have to have probability on your side in there. I don't like it where we're slow. When we're slow, we chop in like a 10-point range. That's the worst to me. But I guess the bigger thing here is that to me, movement is not the end all be all. I think that as traders, we get addicted to it ticking up, you know? And in the 10-year, it doesn't happen very often. When it really ticks up, that's like, hey, you got your trade and you won and you got to think about taking it off, you know? But you're watching the level 2 and you're getting a feel for where it's going from there, and I can watch that instead. And I kind of like that, but it's mostly I just feel like I can hold tight risk. Like I can really, especially when it was thick, we could like literally trail our stop like 1 tick below it, 1 tick below the bid or whatever we were doing if we were taking it long. I kind of have to wonder though, with the way that the treasuries just came down there, does that make the treasuries a less fertile ground to trade? So money's going to start coming out of treasuries a little bit? I don't know. I guess if I come back to the volume profile over here. Oh, what the heck? Oh, that's so bizarre. My chart over here in it's broken. Like where's the I can't. That's so weird. It's not showing me this thing down here. What's with that? Let's get rid of this one. The one that's the composite. I don't need that. Aha. Okay. Like we're close. We're relatively close to the all-time high in the 10-year, right? So I guess it coming
Christoph
back
Chesney
is
says, hi,
not.
can you help me please? What symbol to use to see only overnight session for MES0620 for Ninja Trader? I want do some statistic, etc.
Okay, so Khrushchev, what you need is when you go into data series, change the trading hours right here. And instead of using the CME, instead of using instrument settings, use CME index futures RTH. And then it will only show the regular session hours. Come back over here. Make sense? You can also go in and like make your own session template so that the regular session and the extended
Christoph
session are two
Chesney says,
separate.
but only overnight?
Well, if you want only overnight, then make a new template that just only is the overnight, or make a double template like I'm talking about, where you have one session that's the overnight and you have one session that's the regular, so like a 2-session template. And
Bot
then
says he said he wants to only see overnight.
yeah, but if you want to see only overnight, you would need to make a new template that is only overnight, and then run your stats on that. Ooh, they're going to come up to the overnight high here, huh? Interesting. Okay, so new 5-minute bar. I don't know, my dude. That feels too close.
Christoph Chesney says thanks.
Yeah, you're fine. What if we say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8? I guess maybe it's not. I don't know. What do you think? I feel like it's too close, but that's where I'm supposed to put the stop, right? I'm seeing oil is making a run, making a little bit of a recovery. They're at 12.92 today. I think that they could probably make it back to 16 before the end of the week.
Bot says sorry, where is the stop?
I have it at 72.50, which is the low of the previous 5-minute bar, which it's about 9 ticks away, but it's just really close. I'm like, well, how many times might they range around in that area before they break the high? I guess I didn't really realize how far they went, though, because even if I got 25 there, I would be happy with it. They really ran. No, I'm getting an outside bar up here.
Bot says I'd move it up to 2,774 even now.
Really? See, I've been doing it on the previous bar, not the current bar is 74. I guess it's okay.
Winston's mom says 18 watching now, from home, most likely, and how many of you are dressed? Lol, please take a quick second to hit like. Thank you.
I'm definitely dressed. I gotta tell you though, that some of the things that I see during this whole thing is like, it's like, okay, listen, you want to know why, like things like basic universal income and so forth are problems. It's like, look, we just gave a lot of people all of the time in the world. Like we basically force them, like, look, you can't work, you just have to stay home.
Bot says right, but the current bar just retested the single print and jumped higher.
Yeah, you're right. I could have held it. Okay. I'm strictly doing it on the previous bar's low, not the current bar's low. So let's just keep doing that. And then we can talk about switching it up. Anyways, it's like we give all the people all this time, and then what do they do with it? They go drinking. I really think you got to worry about that. Society is not productive unless you force them to be. Apparently, not everybody is incredibly self-motivated. They are pushing through some levels, man. They are pushing through some levels. So I got to zoom this 5-minute out. How far back do we got to go? We're even above levels from yesterday morning now, too, huh? Because they couldn't get above the 777.
Bot says I'd move my stop up to the break of the overnight high now at 2,777 even.
You're right. Hold on, wait. It should be, oh, well, so if we go by the bar, it should be 74 right there, right? But you're saying the break of the high was 77. Interesting. Well, I do feel like I could move it closer. But so here's another thing is I don't think I ever want it to be closer than 8 ticks from like the move, but look at that. Probably I do need to move it up so that I can see it. Huh?
Winston's mom says I know what you mean, Seth. I can't imagine why life would return to normal now that everyone has realized they can work from home, not commute and not wear pants during the day. Our climate improves.
Well, there probably will be a lot more people who work from home, for sure. But there was some threads about this on Reddit because the majority of the people obviously would prefer to continue working from home. And a lot of people were posting things that were saying, hey, like people are more productive and things like that. But then there was other people that were downvoted, but they were down at the bottom of the thread. And they were saying, okay, like we have software on all of our machines that keep track of how much time you spend typing and how much time you spend doing X and Y and everything. And they were saying that the overall productivity, like the amount of work time that people were actually spending working was down like 30-40%. So I think that a lot of businesses, they are going to force you to go back to work just because it's not productive enough for them at home. I think that at my work, we're doing okay. At first, I was a little concerned. I felt like I was waiting on people, maybe as just specific individuals that have a lot going on at home and they're not as productive. But now maybe they're all working those things out and it's getting better. So we'll see. But certainly overall, there will be more
Bot
people.
Says 2,778.00 for stop now.
See, where are you getting that one? That's the current bar. But I thought you said it was the previous bar, not the current bar's low. So the chances of 78 getting touched are pretty high. Yeah? Especially since it's like only 4 ticks away. I'm just a little... I understand why you're saying it. I'm trying to figure out why I thought you said the previous bar.
Bot says it already retouched it and popped higher.
Okay. I know.
That guy says microscalping perhaps?
Yeah, well, the idea here is that when this trend dies out, we should get stopped. So, okay, well, look at that. Now we can definitely move it. Jeez. Talk about a move, though. This is incredibly positive. You're going to have to retrace. I mean, where can we get to? Well, I see 88.50 is definitely one spot that they might go and balance at. Okay. So there was something right there. That from an order flow perspective, I wasn't paying close enough attention, but that may. Oh, actually, do I have it over here? I do. Yes, that would be. I think that order flow alone, that could be a reason to get out right there. But we'll hold the
Bot says if they take out 2,785 even, they could test 2,790 plus or minus.
No. So there's the current bar low, right? We'll let it work. Okay. I think that was good, yeah. $27.90. Yeah. The only reason I said 88 is there was a point of control there. Of course, we wiped out that point of control yesterday, but then there's a decent amount of volume there. And if we're rejecting these lower prices, then that's probably the next kind of area of interest that they're going to want to go towards. But I did see two things. I mean, that was that current bar's low, so I think that no, was it 79.50? I don't recall. I'm okay with it. It was a good trade regardless. But that kind of little order flow aberration that I saw there is kind of does tell you that they might be petering out. Like if they do go, there's maybe like one more rush and then. So now I'm looking back here. What did I actually get? Did I actually do it right? 80.50. And the low was. It was actually.
Bot says, are you out of the trade or still long?
No, I got out of it. I think I got confused on something because now I'm looking at it and that probably wasn't. Maybe it was the one on the 1 minute chart where it was like, yeah, it was. It's okay. It does look like they could go a little bit further. $80.50. Oh, I did have the stop pulled up, but then yeah, that's right. I had the stop pulled up, and then I saw them go through an area on the 1 minute chart, and I said, well, I don't like that, and so I put my limit order out there. And that was at 80.50. Okay, so now that right there, that ding, they might bounce off of that, but that is again another. I'm getting a couple of warning signs here. I'm getting I don't know how I feel really conflicted right now because my system that we're trading this week says nothing about this. It just says you trail the stop and let it take you out. But some of my other edges that I have are telling me that they're going to pause here at the very least, if not turn back down a little bit. Okay, now we're definitely. I guess if I was trading one bar back, we could still have our stop at like 78.25. But like, think about that. That was like 3 points more that we got. this in particular. Let me show you. Let me make it big so you can see it really clearly. Do you see? I feel like that serial killer guy on South Park where he's showing them his family photos. Okay, so here's some bids right here. Look, some big guys are putting bids up in that area all of a sudden. So he's gonna push it up, but then look, you can see activity from the offers as well, and you can see the overall balance extending. So that's kind of giving you a sign that we have switched from an area where we were trending up to an area where they might have difficulty. So they could reverse in this area. They could also like kind of range around in here until the open. So I think that was a great trade. I don't think well, I guess we did talk about a couple of things that we could have done differently, but in terms of what my plan was, I don't think we could have done better on that one. In fact, that one is so good, like, how much was it? I don't know, 67. You could just quit right there. It feels good because yesterday, I tell you what, man, like especially because I was reviewing with John afterwards, privately in Discord, and I was kind of complaining a little bit because I was pointing out, okay, so like if the bar is like this, then yeah, you make money, and if the bar is not like this, then it's kind of questionable. And I was really frustrated, and after talking to him, I was just like, ugh. But then I took a little bit of a nap, and I got a good night's rest, and I very much realized that I was just burning myself out yesterday. Is all. So yeah, happy with that. Where do we start a week? What is the week level?
Gary Rich says yesterday oil VIX hit 400. Loving
Really?
it.
400? Wow. So, Gary, this little edge that you have shared with us has kind of been opening up a can of worms, because as I've been researching about it, I'm discovering a bunch of other similar measures. So there is the VIX, but then we could also go and we could look at the skew, the options skew. We could look at the spread in the 2s and 10s. We could. There was a little article. There was this article that John shared with me where they graphed it out. They had a scatter plot, which is what we need to do for this. But it was kind of nice because I think one of the most difficult things that I'm realizing now how I feel stupid now. I'm like, well, we should have known this to begin with. I've always said the hard thing is like if it's trending, you want to use this strategy, and if it's not trending, you want to use this strategy, and they're like exact opposites, and so you have to know which one it's doing to make money.
Gary Rich says, can you link it here, the article?
Yeah, let me find it. And and now I'm realizing, and I always thought like, oh, I'm dumb and I should just be able to see it, and what am I missing? Now I'm realizing, hey, this is the problem with trading, and a lot of these more modern measures that the professionals have created are all ways to try and solve that problem, to try and predict what the volatility and trend for the day is going to be. Here it is right here. I'm going to post it to you in YouTube chat. So it's called a look at volatility filters.
Speculator Seth Day Trading says.
Okay. And he talks about volatility regimes. And anyways, he has a couple of different measures that he's done. And those measures he's gone and said what tends to be the range the next day and what tends to be the return. So that range would be total volatility. And this, I think the main reason why you want to do two of them is because there could be a tendency for it to go down. So you can see here when the 2s and 10s are a little bit elevated, there is slightly more tendency to go down, but there are a few, that are up too. Anyways, instead of using the VIX overall, he's using something called VIX Contango. I don't know what that is, but anyways. And then he's also looking at SPX gamma exposure. SPX gamma composer, SPX components gamma exposure.
Gary Rich says I don't disagree with the scatter plot, but now we get into left tail and right tail talks.
Well, yeah. It definitely tells you, because what you want to see.
Jason P says ISNT contango an options term?
I guess. I don't know what it means or if there's like a measure of it or something. Gonna come up. See, so now that one right there definitely would be stopped out now. I did get a higher price than where my stop strategy would be, but they're kind of saying, hey, maybe we'll go up. So we'll see. But I think we played that right. So yeah, you want to see on a scatter plot, you want to see something like this, right? That tells you, okay, if the
Gary Rich says the gamma models are very difficult to handle for the new person.
Well, I'm a mathy guy. And I definitely understand options. I don't have a lot of experience in trading them, but I absolutely understand all of the different I have to be reminded what they are, but I remember all of the delta, theta, all of those sorts of things, and the Black-Scholes model. I understand how that works. I would probably need to refresh my memory a little bit, but they taught me those things at Goldman Sachs.
Gary Rich says you need lots of data for gamma modeling and it's expensive.
Okay. But when he posts this, that makes me think that there's like an index or something out there that shows it. Surely, where is he getting it from? Where is he getting the data from? I guess is the question. But this one, this 2s and 10s, we can definitely do that. We could go in and we could say, okay, what was the spread in the 2s and 10s in the overnight session, and then measure that against the range and return on the S&P 500 for that next day, and draw a scatter plot. And if there's a good edge in it, we should see a line of some sort that tells us, okay, when the 2s and 10s is higher, the range in the S&P 500 tends to be higher. And then we can use that to expect what kind of volatility we'll have for the day. And then the other thing was, I was wondering if I can go into like Thinkorswim, or maybe I need to open a Tasty Trade account with the tiny little Tasty Trade account and look at skew. Skew meaning puts versus calls.
Gary Rich says the VIX theory is 64% of the time it gets there, the other 36% it doesn't. This is hard to model due to massive data needed.
Oh, that's interesting, Gary. I can model it, but I think I have to do it in TradingView, which I'm not happy about. If I could do it in NinjaTrader, we would probably already have it and it'd be done. But what I may need to do is export it into R and do it through R to draw a scatter plot for us. But 64% of the time it gets there. The full target, really? Because I was just noticing, it seems to me like if you take a 50% target, that it probably gets there 70-80% of the time. It touches one side of that. So I could totally believe that it gets the other one 64% of the time. But the thing that's interesting to me is that when they break through it, there's always...
Gary Rich says you will need years of data to properly model then regression, STD deviation, gamma, and more. Very hard to do this.
I don't think that I would want to do it that far back, to be honest. Because, well, if you're talking about gamma modeling, I guess we're kind of talking about two different things. I'm like looking at it as like, okay, I want to see like what this measure has been normally, but I'm particularly interested on what is this measure over the past 4 months, right? During this market regime, essentially. What is the tendency? Is even more interesting to me than that, but I guess they're not like mutually exclusive. If that's the right word. But you're saying this gamma thing, so there's not like an index. SPX gamma. SPX gamma. Spot gamma. Stock market options gamma modeling.
Gary Rich says you need to run regression and standard deviation models going back years. Even when VIX was at pre-08 levels to now.
Why? I definitely see posts from people online where they're saying this is what the gamma is, but where do they get it? They get it from spotgamma.com.
Gary Rich says you need to see the distribution of outcomes over periods of time.
Well, yeah. How much is this? When you're looking at a trading product and they don't put the price up front, that's always like a big, like, okay. Subscribe. It wants me to go to PayPal. Okay, free for the first week and then $26 each month. That's reasonable. That's reasonable. And they would give you gamma. But then you might want to do your own study like the link that we were showing. But they're saying when the gamma is high, that let's see here. This is gamma and this is the range. So when the gamma is a -1, then that tends to be when we get big moves. And when the gamma is positive, then it tends to be more constrained. Anyways, but the 2s and 10s is one that we can do because I calculate that already. So all I need to do is say, what was the overnight session?
Gary Rich says with gamma, you need delta, theta, vega, and more. Lots of data on data.
Yeah. But again, I'm not talking about calculating it all myself. I'm thinking I can get a platform that might give it to me. Because you're right, to do it all, that's a lot of math. And I would have to be on, maybe NinjaTrader is getting there, because NinjaTrader is adding stuff for options, right? So maybe NinjaTrader will get there, but at the moment, I don't think that I
Gary
can.
Rich says I have the book with every option model in it.
Okay. Anyways. 2s and 10s, though. Let's do that one. We'll say, what was the overnight spread change in 2s versus 10s. That's what I want to see. And then we can do a scatter plot over as far back of data as we can get to see what the correlation is.
Ace Trade says just in to say hi.
Hi, there you are. How did you do yesterday, Ace? You fare okay? Been watching. I haven't been trading your system because I had some trouble with it, and I'm trying something different that's a little bit more high time frame, but I'm still kind of watching it and hearing the dings, and there's been a couple of especially yesterday was a little, what is the word?
Ace Trade says ya did great, went short oil.
Oh, you traded oil instead? Oh wow. So you actually did trade oil and made money on that? You gotta be kidding me. Wait, do you know where you took it from? What of that move did you catch? Was it yesterday or was it Monday? No, it was yesterday. From where to where? I saw there was a guy in the Discord chat that said he went short from 22 to 20, and
Ace
he
Trade
thought that
says
he had
June
got
contracts. It dropped.
Yeah, and he thought that he had gotten a good trade in there on that. And then, it went down to 12. Which, is like $40,000 or something on a contract. Like, oh my gosh, it's crazy. It's $10%. $100, 10 cents. $1,000 for a dollar.
Ace Trade says can't remember, but it was like 22 down to something in the teens.
Jeez, man. You know what was funny to me about that whole thing was, okay, like,
Gary Rich says I'm not sure what your margins are, but my the 2nd of July 55 calls were 74K margin.
Anyways, it was so funny yesterday watching this, because at the end of the day, like in the Facebook groups and everything like that, there's all these people that are like, wait, what do I have to do to buy oil? Can I actually buy it for negative and all this and that? And I'm like, are you guys crazy? Like, are you crazy? You just saw this unprecedented move. Oil's dropping like crazy. It's all over the place. These are high margin products, and your first thought is, oh, hey, I've never traded before, but I think I should go and trade that. Oh my gosh. People are freaking stupid. I'm glad that you made out okay on oil. I was worried about the oil thing, that oil can ruin you so quickly, But, ugh. I'm sure that more retail traders lost money than made money on that, and I'm glad that it worked out for you.
Ace Trade says yesterday afternoon I went to put $10 of gas in my car, and they gave me a tanker off the coast of California. Boom Baby says hasn't everyone called the trade of the decade at least once, and then got out of the position too soon?
I've done
Lol.
it. I've definitely done it. It's a scalper's mentality, and you got the thing, but you always know that there's a chance that it doesn't go. And then when it does go, you're like, oh my gosh. But of course you're going to miss that one, because that's the thing that, like, the trade of the century is usually the thing that's like, only a 5% chance of it actually happening or something, Another thing that was funny that I saw in that yesterday was, what is his name? He's the biggest guy on YouTube in the financial space, but I forget what his name is. But he's this kid, and he does real estate mostly. And he was saying, oh yeah, you can totally go on there, and they will pay you to take delivery. Just realize that you have to have storage, and it's like $300,000 a day to store stuff in this facility. I was like, whoa, what? Wow. No wonder. I still have to wonder, though, with that whole thing. I totally understand that it's like um, you have to take delivery and you might not have a place to store it, or it's not worth it for you to store it, and so you got to dump it. I totally get that and why the move happened. But what I don't get is why then? What was it that all of a sudden that was the point at which they realized that they couldn't hold this? You would think that if you were holding contracts like that you would have come to that realization a hell of a lot sooner than after the roll. You know what I mean?
Gary Rich says I'm not sure what your margins are, but my the 2nd of July 55 calls were 74K margin. RJ Wheel says wow Gary.
I'm surprised that as many people were trading that yesterday as there were. Would have thought that the brokers would have taken people out, but whatever. It's oil. Oil's crazy. I can't believe you're trading it. Maybe you should. I was telling John the other day, because John worked in the oil industry, bots, and I'm like, so why don't you trade oil? And he just laughed. But hey, maybe you should show him what you're doing in oil. Maybe he could make something of that. I think he's happy with what he's trading right now. Bots is, but I digress. Remember when gold was a safe
RJ Wheel
haven
says I had a
score.
tanker fill my pool.
I had a tanker fill my pool. Well, like that's the thing is like you realize one contract is 1,000 barrels, right?
Winston's mom says was this tanker named the Comfort? Hang on, Ace Trades, I understand she will be leaving New York Harbor soon enough, and good morning.
Okay, wait. How many gallons are in a barrel of oil? 42. 42 gallons. Okay. Average swimming pool in gallons. Oh, okay. How many gallons of water are in my swimming pool? That's poolandspa.com. I know what I'm doing. Just tell me the formulas. Okay.
RJ Wheel says 32 by 16.
That's how big your pool is? And how deep? 32 feet. 32 by 16. Let's just say that it's a 5-foot deep pool times 7.5 equals 19,200. And then we divide that by 42. So you can hold half. You could hold half of a contract of oil in your pool. Less
Winston's
than
mom
half.
says we had a fantastic Olympic-sized swimming pool on Boca Ciega Bay. The house had belonged to an Olympic swimmer hopeful. Our insurance company made us remove the diving board. I was so ticked off.
That should be today's title. How much oil can you fit in your swimming pool? Half a contract. That's the answer. If we're using that 32 feet by 16 feet as the size of your pool,
Gary Rich says we can buy a Supermax tanker for 25 mil. It holds about 2 mil barrels at minus 40 hold for 5 months. Huge payday.
Hey, there you go. A Supermax tanker.
Jokel says if someone had a big storage building at their home property, would they be allowed to take delivery there?
I think you probably could. But, if you had a huge storage facility, then you would already have all of the infrastructure and everything to handle the delivery, right? Because I think it's more than just having a big tank. It's
Gary
having
Rich
like
says
a pump
no.
And, you have to be able to pump it out of the tanker. And
Christoph Chesney says nope.
Oh, maybe you're right. Because you can't just take it anywhere, right? It's... With you're doing it at the CME, it's like it coming out of a specific place.
Winston's mom says we did flight survival training at Langley in a giant swimming pool. We had to dive under a parachute. My flight suit was not made for me, filled up with water, and I had to be deflated to get out. Lucas says lol.
Right. Okay, so the open was 2780.75. There's some indications that we could
Lucas
move
says
up a
you
little
can't
bit,
store
but
oil
let's
in a
say...
swimming pool.
Oh, well, yeah, no, probably not. Huh? So what would happen if you stored your oil in a swimming pool? Would it go... What would it do? It would seep through the pool? What would it... Would it ruin the oil? We're just saying. If you wanted to get paid to take delivery... The thing that's so funny about it, I guess, is that, like, the reason it's going
Lucas
negative
says I
is
don't think they would
because of
even let you take
storage.
it.
So because of the storage is
Lucas says that's why it's gotten expensive, right?
yeah, like there's nowhere. Yeah, it's everything's full. All of the real storage out there is full. There's nowhere to put it. I don't know what they're gonna do. They're just gonna dump it in the ocean.
RJ Wheels says barbecue and a swim would take on a level of danger.
So I could have held my original trade and let it go through, but with the stop strategy that we were using, we definitely would have gotten stopped out. Probably with the stop strategy that Ace uses too, because Ace usually trails it like 8 to 16 ticks behind, and we definitely came back at least 16 ticks off of, because here it was, the high was 83 and they came back to 76, so there was 7 points back, right? Okay, so they went up and tagged our area that we were saying maybe they could get to, and then a huge sell comes in. Well, that one we could... Okay. I don't think I want to trade the open, though. Anyways, I think it's funny, like, the reason that they're having the problem is because people can't take the storage, people can't take the delivery, and you have all of these clueless people that are like, oh, I want to take delivery and get paid to take delivery. Well, if you could do it, then you'd be doing it, right? There's nobody that can do it. That's why there's a problem.
Daniel K says short here at 2,778. Just 2 lots.
I can see on my chart, like, if I really wanted to trade it here, that's where I'd have to do it from. I don't think I'm going to mess with it, though.
Jokel says tanker companies have been mooning. Winston's mom says I was reading 2 years ago that MBS in Saudi had overproduced oil to help Trump keep prices down.
Yeah.
If this was true, then they backed themselves into a corner for a quick short-term sugar high.
Well, I don't know if that's necessarily the case. I mean, even if they hadn't have done that, we would still be in a situation, right? We would still have oversupply, and Russia would still be saying that they don't want to cut back. So the whole thing is kind of interesting because they want to decimate American oil companies is really the long and short of it, right? But how much damage are they doing to their own economies with all of this? So I can't... It's got to be bad. Well, it is bad elsewhere too, right? Like, indexes all over the place are down. It's interesting, though, also, that when we look at the markets and this downturn, it didn't really get super bad until the oil stuff started happening. The virus itself was not the thing that, like, really caused panic. It was when oil turned. So I thought, oh, okay, maybe maybe they're correctly pricing this thing in, and we'll see where it goes. And if it gets worse, then maybe we can go down further. But then the oil thing happened, and then it was really like just race to the bottom, you know? Okay.
Winston's mom says 35 watching now.
No.
If you have room to store oil, please hit like. If you can do it, then do it. Please will all 35 watching now. Take a quick second to hit like. Thank you.
No. If you don't have the ability to store oil, and I know it's frustrating, take your frustrations out on that like button. That's what you should do. That's because if we do it the other way, nobody will click it. None of you can store oil. They're fighting over on this area a little bit.
Winston's mom says, did you hear about Kim in North Korea being seriously ill? His sister is next in line, super sharp, savvy and smart, and probably hanging around his hospital bed, a bit too close to his monitors, lol.
Yeah, there's some...
Christoph Chesney says 1000 after 4 seconds smiley face.
There's some question about whether that's true. I was seeing headlines this morning claiming that it was fake news, that South Korea was saying that it's not true, that the original news report had false information in it. But we do know that he had a heart surgery, and we do know that he didn't show up at that celebration. So, I don't know. Be interesting to see how that one turns out. It's interesting to me that the Korean markets thought that him dying was like really bad. I mean, I understand why, but it just was not the first thing on my mind. It was like Kim Jong-un being alive is good for Korean and world markets. Like, oh, okay. Whoever would replace him, they really are that crazy. Although I hear that his sister's not too bad, right? I don't think she's like a shoo-in for it. I think actually the line of succession is actually really questionable, according to the article that we read about it yesterday.
Lucas says they would have to compete with an eventual North Korean free market, lol.
That would reunify in the end, right? If North Korea, they want to be a single country. That's the interesting thing. It's like Vietnam. They want to be a single country. Vietnam was an even more complicated issue because the government that we were supporting in Vietnam was not a good government. That was kind of, looking back at the Afghanistan situation, because there's been a little bit of criticism about that because it looks like they're not really going to go through with their commitments and stuff. Well, the Afghanistan central government, after What's-His-Bucket took over and did a couple of things the U.S. didn't like, is not a reliable partner. And then the United States has learned that, being that involved when the government that you're helping is basically a dictatorship too is like a bad idea. Because that's what they did in Vietnam. So I think that's why they got out. But North Korea or South Korea are great. They're a great country. So I'm sure they would reunify under South Korea in the end. Probably a long ways off, though. Oh, they're fighting, trying to catch the open up again. Not quite making it. Overall, deltas are negative still.
Winston's mom says Berlin was divided. I talked to a German woman online and she lived in East Berlin before Reagan made his stand and it was a miserable existence according to her.
Yeah, oh yeah. But that was, so like I'm into the music, and trance music basically was invented after the fall of the wall in Germany. And that's why trance music is always about like coming together and emotional feelings, and that it was music for healing a divided city. Um, and apparently things were pretty
Lucas says it
awesome
has to
when
be for the ruling power to protect people from escaping rather than getting in.
yeah.
Daniel K. says China not eager to have an American ally on their border.
You think that China still would prevent any kind of North Korea unification effort? Maybe that's true. I thought that was a work notification, but it was not. It was just spam. Okay, back above the open again. See, we're still in this spot where I guess the overall trend is up. So I would
Daniel
have
K.
to
says
favor up.
speculation is that if U.S. pulls out their forces, China might be amenable to a unification and push North Korea in that direction. But not before then.
Oh, okay. Well, if
Winston's mom says I had read that David Hasselhoff is a rock god in Germany, and my friend proved this true when she immediately wanted to ask me everything I knew about him. TV star, Knight Rider started on soaps. Lucas says, are you long bias, Seth?
I think I would have to be long bias here, but I don't necessarily want to try and play the open. So let's just let it do its thing. If I see it come back into a more significant spot, then maybe I can take it. It would be interesting. I am seeing some cumulative delta short. I don't think it's enough to be concerned, but the whole short scenario does seem interesting to me. Like if they were able to turn down short here, they could potentially have a really fast move down, and then they could
Lucas
take
says
out
I'm
the
waiting
overnight
for about
lows, and
half
it
an
could
hour
be
from the
crazy.
open now. Anyways, it's hard for me to form a bias after yesterday's sell-off.
Yeah, if they were to sell again, I can definitely see a place where they would break, and then it would be crazy. But everything that I have in terms of like what the volatility, well, actually, we haven't looked at that today yet. What is the VIX? The VIX is at.
RJ Wheels says I'm
Okay.
waiting to short.
It needs to be longer, apparently. But I am getting a thing. What's with that? Okay, well, so our upside targets are 28.20, and our downside targets are 27.41. So 28.20 is reasonable. That was some support that was there from before. So that would make sense. They're pricing it in to go there.
Winston's
and then
mom says Daniel K. the enemy of my enemy is my friend, the Arthashastra.
27.41. 27.41 puts us back to yesterday, the overnight consolidation area, essentially. So when I look at it, Lucas, it's like everything that I see is telling me that there's no
RJ
reason
Wheels
to be
says
big volatility.
2,747.
But I definitely know the pattern. Like if they broke those lows, they could just really fall out of control. But I don't think that's not necessary. In fact, I don't think that we need to be going for a big trade here. Like just look at the action so far. It's been 15 minutes. We're still within 2 points of the open. There's cumulative delta short, but it's only by about 7, 8, 9, by about 9,000 contracts short. No, not even that. 28, 930. So 5,000
Lucas
contracts
says
short.
yeah, true.
5,000 contracts short on the open. It's a pretty messy chart. This seems to be saying to me that they don't really have a
Daniel
significant
K.
reason.
says at Winston's mom very wise.
Now let's go back and look at something else, because we don't have a lot of news, but there could be earnings today that might be important. So let's go and look at that.
Lucas says it's hard for me to go for big trades. Not that I don't want them, lol, I just can't spot them. I like your 10 to 20 point runners.
Yeah. Well, Lucas, the way that we're catching the runners, the theory behind that edge is we know the times of day where
Lucas says I
traders
just
tend to
checked
come
and
in.
there's nothing else.
We know when traders tend to come in or tend to have to make moves, and that's how
That
we're
guy
doing
says off topic, but Christmas couldn't come any sooner.
Christmas couldn't come any sooner. Why do you say that guy? Let's see here. Top this week.
Lucas
I'm
says,
trying to
oh,
find
that's
the
interesting.
earnings. Here we go.
RJ Wheels says the masks and rubber gloves hung with care.
Okay, so today's Wednesday, so we had Delta. I already saw that one posted. Delta, AT&T, Discover Card might be an important one to look at. NASDAQ, that's interesting. So nothing too big even on that front.
Winston's mom says if you all get a chance, check out the videos with Russian swimmer Yulia Efimova. She is posting these mind-blowing workouts from her kitchen. 11 million shares on Twitter so far.
I don't know. Let's just kind of take this in at this moment and see what happens.
Lucas says, do you also calculate days of the week? Like which day trader Bob might come in at 10 a.m. and drop the bid?
Yeah. Well, I mean, so I'm looking at which days of the week are more likely to have people putting trades on, but even more specifically, what times of day that people are more likely to be entering into positions. and then we're finding areas where we're trying to find a probabilistic edge in an area before those times, essentially.
Lucas says, I remember when Wednesdays used to be trend days, it was like back in 2018.
Yep. Wednesdays do have a stronger probability of trending. But the issue is today is there's not any significant economic news. There is earnings, but there's not significant earnings news. When we come in, we look at the VIX is down a little bit. Overall, everything looks slightly more constrained. And then when we look at our targets based on what the VIX is telling us, they match up almost exactly with the last volume clusters distribution areas that we've seen both above and below us. So we could certainly trade anywhere within that range. And if we got to one end of the range or the other, I think that would be entirely appropriate. But some sort of crazy fall apart move is probably less likely, which means that if we're taking a trade, say we catch a trade and we get a runner, I'm not expecting to hold it much below 27.60 if we caught it, So like maybe there's 20 points on the downside or 20 points on the upside, So if it's like that, if we catch one, we're gonna trail that stop aggressively. do we see? I do see
RJ
some
Wheel
activity
says
on the bid
Daniel,
here.
hope you held your short.
Oh, yeah. Where was he saying? 78. Hey, you got a good price, man. Well, we did say 78 was around the spot that if we were going to take it, we'd have to take it. Although, if I had taken that one, I would maybe already be out. That's still not bad. That's still 6 points. I think I'm content to hold it here, and maybe we'll get an 8 o'clock trade. 8:30 trade, rather.
Daniel K says yes, I added it 2,781. So 3 lots, average price 2,779.
Wow. That's gutsy. I guess he has some money.
Daniel K says going for Seth's 2,741 target, I guess.
Was it 41? Yeah, it was 41. I don't know. The last move that we had started at 60, right? So I'm thinking they're gonna retrace some of that for sure, but I think that getting below 58, 57 is gonna be hard. If you want to hold it all, I guess what I'm saying is if we make it to 27.41, it may take a really long time to happen.
RJ Wheel says I got on board. Looking for low 60s, then 50 to 47.
Well, the volume is still mostly short, and now we're getting more into like 10,000 contracts short. So there's definitely sellers. I guess another thing that I would say is that overall on the day from the extended session, we are up. But on the hour since the regular
Lucas
session,
says
we are
is there
down.
space for adding CL to your screen? It gained a lot of importance lately and yesterday made history.
Yeah, I added it and I thought maybe I was having some issues. And what was the problem that I was having with that? I don't remember, but let's put it back on there. Oh, I thought maybe I was having performance issues or something. Now we can add it back on here. CL. Let's just come in here and get rid of all of the columns that we don't need.
Lucas
So,
says you will gain views.
get these. The snapshots, orders, alerts, LTQ. Oh, current trades is the one that we want. That's the one that we don't want. There we go. What the heck? What the? Okay. Wait, what the? That's kind of weird. I was getting data there, and then when I did something, and then it stopped. Well, it's at 1436 right now. Down here. Yeah, that's where it is. I don't know. That the DOM was like screwed up. Let's like just reopen it. CL. I pay the bundle. I'm supposed to get it, right? I guess it was giving us data for a second and then they shut it off. Weird. There we go. Snapshot, profiles, order, alerts we don't need. LEQ we don't need. There. And let's make it a super tiny font. And what else should we do? Oh, yeah. Oh, hey, I know what we can do. Okay. Let's make that 100. We'll just minimize this for now.
Lucas says awesome.
Do it like that. Da, 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 da. There you go.
Gary Rich says, Seth, do you have Vista or their bookmap for Jigsaw?
Yeah, right there. How come I can't? Oh, I know why. You have to undock it, and then it will let me zoom out. There you go. Now you can see it. I don't know how useful theirs will be, but okay. So, anyways, what were we saying before all that? Oh yeah, I'm not looking for
Gary
huge
Rich
runners
says, why
today.
don't you use it for a meanie?
I do. It's just over here.
Lucas says maybe you begin to see things and start trading it.
It's behind my picture, and I have enough room. And I wanted to show you guys the economic releases, so I have had it over there. I don't know though. When I look at this, I don't really feel like that particular chart tells you all that much. The main reason why I have this one up is I really like Jigsaw's
Winston's
cumulative
mom
delta.
says, speculator Seth, have you looked at fungi as an investment? Ehab Syed UK biotech startup Biome. Said Syed, one potential is a mushroom-based building insulation made by feeding waste to mycelium.
I've never even considered it. What is the case? So here's the question that we got to ask when we're looking for an investment is what is it about this that is going to make this particular investment more popular in the future compared to now? Right? Like I think that at some point in the future that the American public is going to come along and will be more interested in nuclear power. I would like to see nuclear power become more of a thing. So that's why I want to invest in nuclear power. Those are the sorts of things that we're going to look at. Fungus, it's got to be like, okay, so for that company, for you to really make money on that one, they have to discover something with that fungus that becomes really, really profitable. And what is the probability of that happening? So then we would have to go in and look at the research that they've done and the studies that they've done and see what it looks like and maybe consult with an expert in the medical field and all that sort of stuff. Plus, you're talking about an industry you don't know very much about. So that's another thing. You really should try
Lucas
and invest
says
in
I'm
things you
waiting for a
understand.
big breakthrough in fusion.
There you go.
Gary Rich says good luck on nuclear power that been dead by the global warming eco-Nazis. Winston's mom says the potential is to turn fungi into building materials. IKEA is looking at replacing particle board with this. Then there is the potential medical benefits, and all of the woohoo voodoo.
Okay. So if IKEA started using that in their parts, then that would be a thing. Okay.
Winston's mom says a 200-log mushroom farm can fetch up to $20K a year.
TradingView's still not showing me what the VIX open. Oh, now I can see it. Okay, so they're at 42. And yesterday we were at
Lucas says at Gary
46?
Rich, what's
Yeah.
Trump's stance in nuclear power?
So here's my word of caution for you guys again. Just not saying that you're in a bad trade or anything else like that. I'm just saying that what the signals the market are giving us right now is that range is decreasing. They're consolidating. So I am not looking for runners. Like yesterday was a pretty tight day, and they're saying that today is going to be even tighter. And if we got like those volatility targets, like sometimes we do undershoot them. So okay, well, they come back above our moving average. Let's see that the open it's giving me is 80.75.
RJ Wheels says I took off my short for a wee bit. It was worth a shot.
Gotcha. Well, I have
Lucas
to say,
says, but yesterday was a trend.
like for instance, I think that Daniel was saying that he got an average of like 81. Like that was, hey man, $50.
Gary
a
Rich
contract.
says nuclear power is dead, i.e. new power plants due to burdensome regulatory lawsuits, eco-nuts. It takes like 30 years to start one.
Oh yeah,
Sad. It's the cleanest.
it is. It is sad. Although I am the companies I'm looking at, the one they're going to be making stuff in other countries is one thing.
Winston's mom says, runners to my generations mean I have a hole in my nylons or pantyhose and I will need to borrow someone's nail polish until I can get to the store.
But I'm looking at guys that make parts for nuclear power plants and not necessarily making or owning or running power plants themselves or uranium. Although I'm told uranium is doing really well right now for some reason. I don't remember why, but uranium was doing well right now, which is kind of interesting. I would think that nuclear power would be down overall because of oil being down too. Like the incentive at the moment for people to look for alternative sources of energy is
Bot says TMI.
less, you know? Need to borrow someone's nail polish until I can get to the store. Man. So have you been to the store recently? We were talking
Lucas
about going
says,
to
did the
store
US
yesterday.
begin manufacturing parts for nuclear plants? Wasn't that coming mostly from China?
No. Well, so there's a couple of companies that are kind of involved in looking at this new stuff. The thing that's unfortunate is that the companies that I really want to invest in aren't public right now. So let me show you
Winston's
the
mom
ones.
says, ROFL. I have heard you men and your stories. Can't help Freudian slipping one of mine into your ID.
Yeah, I that's fair. I think she makes a fair point there, guys. Okay, so New Scale is the one that really interests me. New Scale are making teeny tiny nuclear reactors, and they're making them up in Idaho, so it's close to me too, which really interests me. And there's a couple of companies that are helping them, and you could take advantage of, but it's kind of limited. So you really can't take. But if I could make a private investment in New Scale, that really excites me. I want to invest in that, but I can't. There's no public company for it. New Scale is a big one. There's a couple of tickers. So like there's Lightbridge.
Winston's mom
LTBR.
says, what about nanobot technology? Read a few Michael Crichton novels and you can see the potential.
Lightbridge, they are working on thorium reactors. But unfortunately, the vitals on that company don't look too positive to me right now. They have too much debt, Now, when I'm looking at companies right now, I think the thing that concerns me the most is if they have too much debt on their balance sheet
RJ
or they
Wheels
have
says
negative
teeny
flow,
weeny nuclear
you
power.
know?
There's guys in caves that will like that.
Yeah, because it's going to be. I'm really concerned about there being a flood of bankruptcies in the country, right? People going bank. That's where there's going to be a problem. And so, if we're going to invest and buy the dip, we really want to get people that have
Winston's
strong
mom says
balance
Barbie and
sheets.
Ken go nuclear.
Anyways, that kind of gives you an idea of the kind of the ones I was looking in nuclear technology. But those aren't the big. So there's nuclear. I'm looking in consumer discretionary. So like I'm thinking like Disney, Netflix, kind of streaming companies, or uh, certain goods. Although it's got to be goods that are going to be more in demand when people are staying home more. And then I'm also looking at 5G
Gary
technology.
Rich says buy the resource companies that provide the uranium,
Yeah.
thorium, etc.
Well, it looks like that right now the uranium companies are doing well. But the thing that I find interesting about
RJ
it
Wheels says virtual reality.
is that some of these companies um, in the nuclear space, because they build the supplies, obviously, nuclear power plant parts are not the only thing that they make. So you get exposure to it, but you can still have a company that's pretty solid
RJ
overall
Wheels
and is
says is
involved
going
in
to
lots of
explode.
interesting things. Virtual reality is going to explode. So, who would you be investing in for virtual reality? Would they have a really, you know what, RJ Will? That's a really good idea. I think that is maybe better than what I was thinking. So, I was kind of leaning towards Disney.
Gary Rich says that Mom, Barbie, and Ken are transgender neutral.
I was leaning towards Disney just because they're a great value play and they've been hit really hard. And I'm sure that they'll bounce back eventually.
RJ Wheels says stick with me, kid.
So what would be a virtual reality company? I guess there was Facebook. I don't want to be
Winston's mom
involved in
says here in
Facebook.
Tennessee, we have ginseng season. It's the only time of year when people can wander our forests and look for wild ginseng, which sells for almost as much as truffles. You can't farm ginseng?
Now, Valve has definitely made the biggest push into virtual reality so far with Half-Life Alyx, but they're a private company.
Gary
But
Rich says gaming is going to explode as well.
so, but maybe who helps make? Well, let's just try and do a search. Valve virtual reality stocks. Maybe there will be some article about it. Okay.
Daniel K says I would love to invest in VR. But who? Facebook? Sony? Nvidia? VR is still so small for them.
Oh, Nvidia would probably be a really strong play in there because these VR, especially to do it well, really does require some hefty power, and Nvidia is going to be the ones that are going to have to provide it. And so I think that the future still looks good for Nvidia. So that could be one way to play it. Facebook, that's yeah. Here they're saying Sony.
Winston's mom says Gary Rich, my daughter did not play with dolls, and when the other girls played dolls, she would dissect the dolls. Their mothers wouldn't let her play Barbie anymore. I didn't play with dolls either.
And then these guys are mentioning the gaming companies. So Activision, Electronic Arts, and Take-Two Interactive. That one's a hard. I would think that if I was forced to invest in one of those three, it would probably be Activision Blizzard. But they've done a lot of dumb things lately. Electronic Arts does a lot of dumb things, and Take-Two Interactive isn't a very strong company. So those aren't really. I'm not so sure those are stocks that I would really want to be in.
Luis Alarid says MSFT biggest player.
Microsoft?
Daniel K says yeah, I just really want a more focused VR play. I am super bullish on VR. Used to work at EA for 5 years. VR is definitely going to be a thing.
You could get into Google. See, the thing that's interesting is that a lot of the stocks that you're looking at for virtual reality aren't leveraged just to virtual reality, which on a play like this, I think is what you want, right? Like if Oculus Rift was a stock, then that would be the one that you want to buy. But of course, there were never a stock in the company got bought by Facebook. So you have to invest in Facebook. And then that means that you have to take on all of the other things that
Gary
Facebook
Rich
has
says there
going
are
for it.
e-gaming ETFs, 30 bill industry.
I see Motif is a stock. Man, I really think Nvidia is probably your best play on that one. Oh, Microsoft. Oh, you can buy Tencent? Oh. Qualcomm could be another good one. I don't know if Qualcomm they do like
Gary Rich says look for the small cap stocks in VR. The big boys will buy or acquire.
But who? I'm not seeing any. Qualcomm one is interesting because they're definitely going to be making some components that are involved, and you get exposure to
Daniel
other
K
things
says I'm
like
hoping
5G.
I can buy Facebook at a discount after a market correction. I think Oculus wins VR.
Oh, you think so? It looks to me like Valve Software is winning the VR war right now. I don't think I've ever seen anybody really care too much about it, other than like there was that short little deformed Knuckles VR chat thing for a while. But with Half-Life Alyx out, I am seeing that, and yeah. I've seen some amazing videos where people juggle stuff in that game, and lots of cool things like that. That was definitely a big step. A lot of gamers are getting into VR because of that game. Even then, though, it's probably not. It's probably too early. It seems to me that most people just don't have the processing power to really do VR right, and they're still working on like they have to get the response times on everything super low, and it's like on the edge, but we're not quite there. See, when I'm searching for companies, they're giving me all of the same
Winston's
major
mom
players.
says I was looking at this stock. NASDAQ, AMGN 228 United States
Amgen.
dollars and 84 cents minus 1.91, 0.83%. Thousand Oaks CA Biotech Company Biology First Company. George Rathman Decode Genetics as a subsidiary. Gary Rich says if you buy the big companies due to VR it's not a pure play.
Yeah.
Have to find the small ones and wait.
This is what I'm saying. The plays that are in there. So I think that Qualcomm and Nvidia, for instance, are good plays. And there's other good reasons to own those stocks, like 5G exposure, Microsoft, cloud exposure. But it's not a pure play.
Daniel K says at Gary Rich you are 100% right. They just don't exist as far as I can tell. Pure plays. If you find one, let me know. I'm a buyer.
Yeah. Let's oh well, there's a couple of ones that I see. It's telling me what's Vuzix. Smart augmented reality. Okay, that might be one. Is that a public company or are they messing with me? I'm just I'm ignoring what the ES is doing right now because I just don't like the action. Okay, it is. But where are they listed here? NCM? Is that a European country? Yeah. Non-clearing member.
Gary Rich says take a listen to Josh Wolf at Real Vision on YouTube. A very smart mind for the future of new technology and innovation.
Okay, so this one, well, I'll add it to the list. The symbol is VUZI.
Daniel K says there's a lot of enterprise VR stuff. People building VR for construction workers, engineers, mining companies, medic companies.
Yeah, that's probably a good point too. If you're looking on the gaming side, probably Nvidia is your best play, but there might be some other ones on the augmented reality side. Okay, well, they're kind of pushing the lows, but you see how tepid they were about it? I don't know, guys. So far, it's been a sell, and I have to say that the selling has been very weak. Even though they made pretty good strides in terms of overall cumulative delta, just that the price action looks really poor. They did push down 10 points though, so I don't know. What is it going to have to take for them to...
Gary Rich says AI, VR, are going to explode innovation for everything. All positive.
Well, I think that probably we'd be able to find more plays in augmented reality, right? Let's try searching for that. Augmented reality stocks.
Daniel K says yeah, good point Seth. Bringing my stop to be at 2,779.
Oh yeah. At least if it comes back.
Gary Rich says new stimmy bill gonna pass.
Is it gonna pass? I saw that the Senate had put something through. I'm not too concerned about it. Okay, so here the very first one that they list is, okay, although the project was actively pursued by Alphabet, afterwards the first all go around for Google Glass was pretty much a flop. Oh, okay. Enter Vuzix. You may know it as a company that developed an apparatus that helps blind people get around better, but products like its M300 and Blade smart glasses are built for enterprises. The company has made a compelling case for using them as a means of getting more done in the workplace at a reasonable price for a corporation. I mentioned Qualcomm. Okay. Lumentum. If that rings a bell, there's a reason. It's a stock that was thrust in the spotlight in the later part of 2017 when Apple CEO Tim Cook began talking up augmented reality prospects. Although he didn't explicitly say at the time how Apple would aim at the AR
Gary Rich
headset,
says
he did mention them by
soon
name. Okay. Let's add them onto the list. Light Lumentum. Their ticker is Light, L-I-T-E. That's cool. So they were mentioned by Tim Cook. Lumentum makes a kind of 3D sensor lasers that can turn a smartphone into something of a radar, an important piece of the augmented reality movement. Apple Immersion Corporation. They don't really say a whole lot of anything interesting about it, but we'll just add it to the list. Immersion Corporation, IMMR. Exxon Enterprise isn't an augmented reality play yet, but it appears it soon will be. They're a maker of tasers and body-worn cameras. Okay, so their market is law enforcement. Microsoft, I'm not going to add that one. Microvision. Microsoft is the maker of the HoloLens, which may be on the verge of becoming a must-have. Microvision's role in the augmented reality movement is a bit different, however. It's the maker of laser that can project images and data into glass. The most practical and tangible use of its technology is the projection of information normally found on a car's dashboard up to the windshield, allowing the driver to keep his or her eyes on the road. Oh, that sounds... HUD on your car, that would be so cool. Okay. MVIS. That one's not quite as good as the other ones, just from the description, but not as interesting, but it's still put on the list. And then NVIDIA. Man, NVIDIA just looks like too good of a play almost. Well, they came back up there pretty hard. Now we're coming into the 830 here soon. You know what? This is a lot like the trade that we took originally, where they spent almost the whole hour being down, and then at the end of the hour they came back up, and then the next hour they pushed. Well, that would have to be at 2780 for that to happen. Okay, I think I got a good list there. So I'll go and look at those companies.
Bots says HUD in the car. That would be so 1990s Cadillac.
Right? I wonder what would you show on it, other than like having the speed like there on the dashboard instead of, down on the steering wheel, so that you can more keep your eye on the road and know what your speed is. That would be useful. Ooh, like if it's a rainstorm, maybe the dashboard could tell you where the lanes are on the road, because when it's dark and the glare in the road, like it's really hard to see the lines. If it showed you on the dashboard, that would be cool. I can see some potential on that.
Bots says GM incorporated IR in their version.
I can see a case for this stock. Really, all of those though, but we got to.
Bots says so you could see body heat in fog or rain.
Like I was saying earlier, the thing that concerns me the most is if they have too much debt. So
Daniel K says NVIDIA sounds good, Seth. I'd be up for research and entry plan together. I'd like to own NVIDIA.
Yeah, I would like. I don't know. So the thing is I want to own NVIDIA, but I want to own lots of technology companies. You know what I mean? I think it would be if I go into a nuclear and supplier, they supply other. I'm kind of like not giving like I've decided that I'm not going to tell you exactly the ones I'm going to get, even after I buy them. Maybe after the fact I'll tell you, but I want to keep my portfolio a secret. So I don't want to give you all the names. Well, we're putting them out here and researching them, so I can tell you, I can research these companies and tell you what I find about them. But I did pick a nuclear one that maybe I want to take on there. But that's kind of contingent on what other industries that I go into. So like, say, I don't think that I could go and say, let's buy NVIDIA and like a 5G company, like let's say Ericsson. Okay. So they supply networking equipment. I don't think that I could do both of those. That's too much technology exposure for the portfolio, right?
Gary Rich says NVIDIA is too high of multiple. Valuations are too rich.
Are too rich. Well, they didn't come back too far, right? Yeah, that's where I'm saying is like, I think NVIDIA is a really strong company, but I'm not sure that they're going to give you the most alpha. So if I wanted to buy a technology company that was more of a high cap staple in my portfolio, then I think that would make a little bit more sense. But I have a financial staple, so I don't think I need to have a technology staple per se. But we can look at, having more of a, especially if we want to get exposure to VR, then I really think that having a more speculative play is the way to go. A small company. And then on the consumer discretionary side, that's where I think that I would want to pick another relatively large company. So that's where, like a Disney might be really appropriate there, right? And Disney gives you a lot of exposure to a bunch of different things. But that one, you're just playing it on because the theme park is a pretty significant part of their revenue. I don't think that Disneyland is going to be like, It's going to be low for a while, but over the course of 10 years, I think that they'll recover.
Gary Rich says buy a ETF with those in them. Unless you are willing to go through the filings and do proper research.
I'm willing to go through the filings and do proper
Bot says
research.
counter trend period kicked in right on time this morning in S.
Here's a good point, John. I kind of forgot about that. I don't think, though, that I want...
Bot says 10:15 to 10:45 Eastern Time.
I might take a trade here, but I don't think that I wanted to take one 15 minutes ago.
Bot says in ES.
Yeah. But the setup that I see right now is very much like the first setup that we took. So I'm just going to kind of wait.
Daniel K says out of trade, break even. Time to sit on hands.
I don't know what the range is. I think I have a strategy for running the stop that maybe would have worked well for us there if I was in that trade with you, but because I'm just kind of moving it down as we go. But that one might have been one where having a target with the range might have been appropriate.
Bot says apparently she likes a space between ES.
S. Otherwise, she just says S. Yeah. Yeah. You should just call it the SPOO. Should just call it the. Let's start using proper slang. It's the SPOOs from now on. We can get a good trade. Maybe if they come back up to the open in the SPOOs here in the next 5 minutes, everything turns blue. Maybe we have a good probability. Because they sold pretty hard, but I'm.
Daniel
really
K says I'm waiting for 849 slightly smiling face.
849? Blah, 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 blah. This person is went to the subreddit and was like, hey, I would like to get a virtual reality stock. And the first response is, don't. You should just invest in the S&P 500. Fuck that. Listen, pick stocks. You can do the research. You can do it. You can be the market. I believe in you. People need to own individual stocks. This everybody buy the index bullshit. It needs to end. It's not good for the country. But does anybody actually list companies? No, I'm not seeing any. Well, they turned back down a little bit there.
Will Ranico says hey Seth. Wondering your thoughts on taking advantage of this Friday of triple witching hour.
It's not a triple witcher this Friday. We just did that. Well, I don't know what the deal is. You are going to get where the weekly and monthly options all expire, right? So, the thing I would say is that what we're seeing this week, and we're seeing it here today, is that the range has consolidated considerably. There's not a lot of economic news on the calendar, and the market seems to think at the moment that they have a pretty good idea of how the easing restrictions for the coronavirus goes, because the administration sets specific goals and targets for when you can remove them. So I think that unless I see some sort of surprises, I'm not necessarily seeing the market making some huge breakout one way or the other at the moment. I don't think that the time is quite right. Okay, that was a trade in the 10-year.
Luis Alarid says the three that have better than S&P this season of dread: WMT, AMZN, NFLX.
That was a 5K buy at 05, and then he bid 05 half too. That's a little concerning. Oh, CL took a dive. That's why. It coincided there in the treasury with a dump in oil. Interesting. Well, I guess I'm glad that we have it up there because I would not have noticed that. The three that have better than S&P this season of Dread: Walmart, Amazon, Netflix. Ooh, yes.
Will Ranico says one more question, Seth. I'm a new subscriber. What's your overall trading strategy?
Yeah. So my overall trading strategy is click on the DOM somewhere and hope that you got a good spot. I'm just kidding. So the edge that we're trying to take advantage of right now, and we change strategies based on what we see the market doing and what our current research is. But what we're trying to take advantage of right now is times of the day in which we tend to see people step into the market. So I'm waiting in a spot right now where there was some initiation lower and they kind of sputtered out and came back. And now I'm looking to see if we start to get initiation into the next hour up. But so far, I'm not seeing it. Although I guess I can take it there, so I should. Oh. Really want it at 7,725, but that's okay. Okay. But a lot of what I'm doing is trying to read order flow is really the thing that makes my channel unique is we watch the DOM, and the DOM is really short term and there's a limit on what it can tell you, but I still think it's a really valuable skill. So that's kind of really our specialty. And so I'm the only person you can see streaming out there that's going to have DOMs up on their screen. Okay.
RJ Wheel says agree weak selling, but the longer the bulls leave it here, the more likely the downside levels get hit. For retest of bull resolve to keep this propped.
Yep. Well, let's just see what happens. Do you see the price discovery starting? You can't necessarily see it so much on the chart yet, but the order flow is definitely showing it. Okay, oil is starting to move around a lot too. I probably shouldn't put my eyes down there. That's kind of making me seasick. Okay. Maybe not. Maybe not. Okay, well, that was crazy. Can you believe that? That was like a one tick short of my stop. And then they came back up. Well, that they're able to even push down there, I don't think it's necessarily positive, but I don't have anything in my plan about that. So we just hold it and watch what it does. Okay. and get up to 78 and stall out. There was pressure. Not a ton of volume going into it, though. They're squeezing them a little bit. 300 up there at 27.78. A lot of clicks, but look, the treasuries are getting pummeled. What a drop. The treasuries just got destroyed there. Did you see that? Like 7K at 01? They're going to go to 139 probably. It'd be kind of funny for them to come 2 ticks short of evens. They almost always trade the evens. How are you guys doing? It's a little quiet. Is it getting tense in here?
Ace Trade says it's baby time.
It's baby time. I don't know if I go and get the baby if he will be too happy for you guys. He's been a little cranky lately because his stomach has been not feeling so good. And he was up crying quite a bit last night. I don't think we should disturb them today. Okay, new push. Ooh, it's looking good so far. Let's come back up here because that's the open. So you can see now they're pushing in the open. There's still a little bit of fighting in it, you know. Okay. Ooh, look at the volume come in there on the micros. They're trading 300. This is interesting because when the micros first started, I thought, it's just retail people. But now clearly there's more than just retail people playing that. I mean, there's some real volume trading there in the micros today. Okay, so we can definitely... Nah, them treasuries, they're pushing for the 139 even. reaching for it. Go, 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 go. No, not quite. There you go. I was looking at it, and for a moment I had a little flashback there because I'm like, they sure are trading some decent amounts there on the micros. Am I sure I'm on the micros? Oh, and then I remembered that time where I accidentally traded it on the ES and I had like a flashback. But then I realized, no, it says MES up there. We're okay. I'm not doing that again.
Bot says decent move to retest the RTH Open in the counter trend period today. Time to go test 2784.75 again.
That's kind of what I'm thinking. The open, the high was 86.25. And then the last pivot was 84.50. The one that he's talking about. I think. Look, they're pushing. There you go. Mm-hmm. I'm still curious about what we're seeing in the treasuries. It certainly must be because of what's going on in oil, right? Because oil had a big move up and they came back, and then we started to see some big trades line. Just seeing, you can see in the down right corner, there was some absorption buying higher,
Bot
and they're
says
trying to get
pausing
into
at OVN
15.
high at 83.5.
Okay, let's reset this right here. I think I understand why you're saying that to me. Oh wait, OV high was 27.77. Where are you getting 83.5 from? Yeah. I don't know. I do see 83.5. Oh, why didn't it show that to me? Oh, because that was when we came in and started trading. Okay. All right. So some absorption again on the open. There's lots of people trading it there. Okay. Let's see. Okay. All right. Look at that big order at 82. Well, I think that was the best they could have done in that situation, huh? It's okay. It was still positive. Could have been much worse, I guess. Part of the problem is that would have been much more advantageous for us to have got like 74, huh? So it could have maybe have done like 82. Well, that's okay. We're saying that it's been rangy action. We started getting some good trend there, and then it got cut way short again. They could probably turn back up and try it again. We'll see what happens. Micro has high commission 125. Why do people always want to complain about the micro commission? I don't understand. Does it make you feel better that you can trade a big ES contract or something? And they just think that it shouldn't be so high. I don't know. It kind of is. Having a commission as high as a tick is kind of bullshit. We still, oh, I guess we did. We ran out of requests here. FHFA allow Fannie / Freddie to buy forbearance loans, no bad loans the GSE won't buy. Yeah, we're not going to mess with that today, Anthony. Sorry. But no trolls. Oh, how do I? All right. Well, I don't know. I'm a little disappointed in that trade. I still see some things that make me think that maybe it will go up high. I think that if it does, so we can just be done. I mean, we got 2 okay trades. Removing messages now. I am absolutely Curtis, because I know who you are, and you guys are trolling, and this is harassment, and it's against YouTube's terms of service, and we're not going to put up anything with it. Yeah, that's fine. We can do this all day, boys. I will do every single one of you. Let's do it. Let's go. Let's go. Hey, yo, we're going to do this. Where are you guys? You got to help me. Okay. So we're being trolled. Ace, all of these people that you see with their names that you don't recognize that are posting bullshit, just delete them. It's because we're being brigaded. We're being brigaded. There's no way they're getting to see the baby. That's funny. Well, that was an interesting bar just there between 79 and 76. Back down. See, there's one right there. Do you see him? Do you see him? Go get him. Go get him. I'll get him. I'm going to beat you to it. So I will explain, since I have all of you here, this is so perfect because there are people out there that'll try and scam you. So let me tell you one thing, and I'm not going to be like, use specifics or names or anything, but of course you all know who we're talking about, right? Number one, no indicator system is worth $1,000. Absolutely fucking not. And I'll tell you why. Because the software that it runs on is worth $1,000. Okay? That software has the ability for you to program and make anything that you want. And if somebody is charging you more for the indicators than for the platform that the indicators runs on, there's something fucking wrong with that. Okay? You're being played. Okay? Number two, there are a lot of people out there that will go and they will find indicators that other people have made. So for instance, lizard indicators, go and search it on Google. This is a guy, he is so great. His name is Fat Tails. He is a really good programmer and he's a really good market analyst. If you do not have lizard indicators, because he puts them on his site, a lot of them are free. It's like a subscription. You pay $100 and then you get all of his indicators in the future ones. But there's also ones that are free. So go and download the free ones. But what some people will do is they'll take those free ones, and because they have the code, they'll go and they'll make small changes to those. Like they'll change the way that it looks and, fiddle around with little things that they think make it more useful or whatever. And then they'll go back and they'll sell it. So even though they didn't really come up with the base indicator that is really, truly valuable, they'll turn around and they'll sell it to other people for ridiculous amounts of money. When Lizard Indicators, who is the guy that created most of this stuff, is over there giving you a subscription, lifetime subscription for $100, the best NinjaTrader indicators out there, in my opinion, for $100. And there are people out there that will pay $1,000 for it. Can you believe that? That is crazy. Okay. Number three thing, there are people out there that they cannot be successful on their own. They will try to be successful. Here's the thing. I just like streaming. We have a small little community here. We have a group of people that come by every day. And I love my community and they're great. And I don't charge. I'm not selling anything because my intention is to get better at trading and to have a community. Okay. But there are other people that their goal is to make money. And since they can't make money trading, they're trying to take advantage of everybody else to do it. So They will charge ridiculous amounts for things that don't really make money. They basically scam you. And when you're somebody like that, the only way that you can really make money, that you can really be successful, is trying to tear other people down. So you will see that a lot in the trading industry. You'll see these people, they're always going out and attacking other people. I do not attack other people by name. I'm sure I've probably done it a few times. Sometimes it's really hard to not like let your true feelings out about things. I'm sure you can understand. When you've been harassed, the amount that I've been harassed by some people, then you would maybe you would understand. Are you on YouTube every day? I am on YouTube every weekday from 8:20 to 10:30 Eastern time. Lately, even more than that, because I don't really have to get started with my day job until about 9:30. Anyways, so these people, they will come in and all they do, the way that they play on you, the way that they will play with your emotions is they will say, there's this guy and he's not doing well. And there's this guy and he's not doing well. And they'll attack everybody else so that you don't pay attention to them, that they're taking advantage of you, right? Because people like to be told, I'm special, I'm part of a special group, I've found something that has more edge than everybody else, and we, the chosen elite few that happen to have come across this silver bullet to the market, are the special people, and everybody else is bullshit and are lying to you. And people like to be told that, right? It's an effective marketing strategy, but people, that's a way to take advantage of people, right? My goal here only is to have a community. Sometimes I make money and sometimes I lose money. Today we made money, didn't we? Come over here, I'll show you my trades. We took a long before the market opened and we made a pretty good profit on that. We're just trading a micro contract. And then we had another one. I guess we could have taken a little bit more than, what was it, that we ended up taking like 5 ticks off of it. But that's okay. That one had potential to go for a lot more. I guess maybe if we had gotten some better signals or had been paying attention, we could. But the way that I'm trying to play it today, that's what we got. So it took 2 trades. We made some money. It's okay. Sometimes you'll come back and I don't make money. And the point is to get better at trading. And I can't say that I'm always going to be on, because what happens is the market changes. So you might have a strategy. It works really, really well. And then the market changes on you and then it doesn't work very well. That's kind of thing. That's trading. Anybody that tells you it's not like that is lying to you. This person that says, oh yes, I make money every day and I've made money every day for the past 2 years, are full of shit. And you should ask them, I want a broker statement for every fucking day. Okay. You had a profitable period and a period of 3 months and they have broker statements for that. Who fucking cares? Who fucking cares? I can show you plenty of broker statements for months that were positive. And I can show you a lot of broker statements for months that were negative too. It happens. There are people that are up and then there are people that are down. These guys that they say, oh, I win every day. You know what happens to them? They will take a trade where they're like, maybe they're trying to make a point on the E-mini and they'll risk like 16 ticks. Okay. So when you're risking 4 times the amount that you would typically make on a trade, your win rate, here we go. When you take trades like that, sorry. Why am I having, there we go. Sorry. When you trade like that, you take more risk than you are actually taking when you win. You have almost zero expectancy. Like literally, to actually come out positive in a situation like that, you have to win like 80-90% of the time. It's not realistic. A good scalper, so like a guy that I would consider a good scalper who has a reputation and when we know has made some money and he's been professional, he's starting a hedge fund now, Gary Norton, and he's selling a course right now, of course, but very expensive course too, by the way, but he's teaching equal risk reward 1-to-1. Did I swear? I'm sorry. equal risk reward, 1-to-1, and he's winning about 70% of the time, but it's equal risk reward. If you're risking more than you if you're risking more on a trade than what you actually make, it just has to be higher. So if it's like 2-to-1, then it's going to be like 80%. You can just go and do the math, right? Average winner times the percentage of times that you win minus your average loser times the percentage of times that you lose equals your expectancy, right? And then you can go and solve for the variables and find out what percentage of time do I have to win to actually make money, right? So once you get to like 2-to-1, then it's like 80%, okay? And if you're going to risk 4-to-1, like you really got to win a lot. And so what will happen is they will tend to win most of the time, like maybe 60% of the time. But then there will be this one day where it just doesn't work and they will completely blow up. And we've seen many of these people that we're talking about. They'll be talking a hot game and all of this, and then all of a sudden the strategy that they have up there just completely blows up. And for some reason, during that time period, they're not posting broker statements anymore. They're not saying anything about how awesome they are. They just kind of pretend that it didn't happen because they don't want you to know that their system blows up. They'll blame it on themselves. They'll blame it on themselves. They say, well, you just weren't trading right. You'll see there are people in the room. They'll say, I blew up. And they'll say, well, you're stupid. You shouldn't have blown up. But the reality is that the strategy itself, because it takes so much risk compared to what it actually makes, that it's destined to blow up. At some point, you're going to have a day that it just loses every single freaking time. That's what happens. That's the nature of the market. So this is how people take advantage of you. And I'm glad if people want to come in and try and troll me, that's totally great because one, it's against YouTube's terms of service to come in and brigade somebody else's YouTube channel. Okay. Number two, I get this great audience and I can prove how people are, I get to talk to you directly and explain why people are taking advantage of you. Listen, I'm really open. Okay. I work with brokers. For instance, Optimus Futures reached out and contacted me. And I tried their platform and everything. I think that there's some nice things about the platform. Okay, especially if you want to trade higher time frames, it's a great platform. And it's cheaper than any of the other platforms out there on a monthly basis if you're starting out. So it's absolutely great. I really like it. But it's not for me. It's not the greatest. And we've shown it. I think I'm going to make another video about it. But anybody that comes, they're a broker, they're a platform provider. Any of these people, I'm totally open. I will try them. I try the indicators. If you give me indicators, I will go and take them and backtest them in NinjaTrader and backtest them live and see if they're really work the way that they say that they are, which pretty much never happens. Okay. But what I don't put up with is other people from other rooms coming in and trying to sabotage our stream. Okay. So we have people that they will spam. They continually come in, even though we've told them to not spam about other rooms. They'll come and they try and promote other rooms. Then, of course, we're going to ban them because you're not supposed to be pushing other people's rooms. If you're going to come in and you're going to try and troll me from somebody else's room, then I'm going to remove you and ban you. And it's easy. Like, do you see how easy it is for me to do it? I can just delete tons of messages if I want to. It's so easy. It's so easy because you're trolling and you're not providing any value to anybody, right? You're just trying to bring somebody else down, which let me tell you, you will get nowhere in life if your whole goal to success is to take other people down, right? The way that you become the alpha, the person that is successful and builds things is by making everybody else around you more valuable, not by tearing them down. So that's my little rant. I need some more water now because I've been talking so much. I'll be right back. Daniel says viewer count up to 52 there. Whatever they're doing, it's helping your viewer count and rank. Yeah, I agree. It's kind of funny. By the way, for those of you guys watching, you go ahead and click that like button. I really appreciate it. It's so great. I'm just really lucky that we have such a great community. Like when something like that happens, I can immediately, there's like a dozen people here that I know that I would trust to help us moderate and deal with this sort of thing. So it's super awesome. So let me tell you another thing. For somebody to want to come in and try and brigade our channel, I think you're dumb. Like, honestly, you are really dumb. For real. Because we have a lot of good information, and you're basically just sending people over to us to get Redpilled and understand how you're scamming them, right? So I'll give you an example here. Oh, wow. So, so many people click like there. Thank you so much. So there's this guy. Well, same scammer that we're talking about, but I'm not naming names, okay? Because we are going to follow YouTube's terms of service, and we're not going to harass individuals, okay? But this guy was posting on Facebook group, and I said, "Oh yes, I'm familiar with that system, but it doesn't really work." And the main problem with the automated part of their system is that it risks more than it makes. And they said, well, I don't know. It seems to be working for me right now. Well, they were kind of new. I think they were kind of new. But they said, well, I'll keep it in mind. They even messaged me on Facebook and asked me about it. It's very sideways today. I've taken a few quick scouts and are 6-0. Daniel, you're amazing. I have to say, I've been so impressed with your performance this week. That, especially that trade that you took yesterday, was so amazing. What did I miss? Another loser coming off social media to be mad at other people without having the guts to show his face trading live? Yeah, I agree. Well, like one of the funny things is that some of the people that we've been seeing, like they're not live when the market's active. Like they've been live in the evenings, which is like, who cares? The market's not doing anything at that time. I guess if you wanted to trade the Asian session, but I'm not terribly interested in the Asian session. Anyways, you got me off track there. Okay, so somebody was posting on Facebook about this system, and I told them, well, I've seen that system before, and the problem with it is that it risks more than it makes. And what will happen is it will appear really, really great at first, and then you'll blow up. And you think that it's you, but really the system is flawed. Mathematically flawed. Mathematically, you're just never going to get a high enough win rate to have a positive expectancy. And they said, well, okay, I'll take it in advisement, but it's kind of like working right now. Okay. And then like 6 months later, like I had completely forgotten about it. This guy comes to me and he says, oh yeah, I traded your system. I traded that system. And over time, I started to realize, oh, hey, everything that Seth said is happening. Like he said that it would trade really well and then it would blow up and you would lose it all. And that you risk more than you make and it's just not a positive expectancy. And he's like, everything Seth said was right. And so I started asking other people in the room, hey, are you making money? Hey, are you making money from doing this? Because this room, they were spending like $1,000 to get into this room, for a license to get into this room. It's a ridiculous amount of money. I just have to say, if you're going to be charging that much, like Gary Norton, he charges $1,000. I think that he's earned the right to trade $1,000 because he was a floor trader and he's a famous trader that people know. And he has managed huge funds for people. He's not just some retail guy that comes out and says, hey, I have this mathematical system that's amazing and I'm just a god. And then doesn't really have the full stats to back it up. He just has cherry-picked sections where he did well. And then when he stopped doing well, he refuses to show his trades. He referring to he never shows his face when he's trading because he thinks, well, let's not make fun of people's appearance, but like I want my face to be front and center because I want to have a connection with my viewers. I feel like that the reason that this stream has been as successful as it is because we as a community, we have a connection. And you can see my face. You can see when I'm happy. You can see when I'm not trading very well and I'm tilted. It's part of the thing. I agree, but Norton stuff isn't worth that much either, though. Like, really not. I'll have to take your word for it because I haven't taken it, and I'm a little skeptical that it's worth $1,000. But I really, really want to know what he says. So I don't know, but I'm just saying, like, he has the reputation where he can command that kind of a price for a system. And the Axie guys too. I mean, they have a reputation because they run a prop firm and they've made a ton of money. But when you got some like random Yahoo on YouTube and they're gonna charge you $1,000 for their software, like, come on. Especially when the platform that you're trading that it's based on is worth just as much, right? You're telling me that the ability to actually program indicators is not worth as much as the indicators themselves. It's kind of bullshit. Anyways, this person, when they came back to me and they said, "Oh, everything that you're saying is true," he started going and asking other people what had happened, and they all said that they were all losing money, and they blamed themselves. But when he like started speaking out about it in public and starting asking things about him, he was like immediately shot down, and like they banned him and like started attacking him. And I mean, the attacks are really quite vicious. I am absolutely shocked and stunned that the YouTube does not do more about it, because it is 100% against YouTube's terms of service. And I blame YouTube. Their moderation system just isn't very good, and they don't handle community issues very well. I guess it's hard because they're such large, so I'm not going to pound them too hard about it. But man, the most vicious, most like the stories that I can tell you from these people, like people coming to their house and they're being accused of doxing and they're being doxed, right? I have like a whole folder of shit. Sorry, technical term. I know I swore there. I have a whole folder of evidence of every time that this stuff happens, because these people don't just go away, right? And it's like at some point, somebody important is going to catch on to it. I wish I knew. I wish I had a buddy at the SEC so I could say, "Hey, you should look into this," or the FTC. CFTC would probably be even better. Hey, there's this guy. There's these people. There's a couple of them. I don't think what they're doing is honest, and I think that you should look into it. And I bet you they look into it and they find something. But probably what is going to happen is that someday, a year, 2 years from now, it's going to all fall apart, and there will be a Dateline NBC episode about it. And Dateline NBC will come to me and they'll be like, "Well, you were harassed by this person. What was your story?" And I will say, "I gave you everything. Every time something happened, I report it. Every time something happened, I save it. I send it." No, that, you just ignored it. So it was inconvenient. And meanwhile, people are losing thousands of their own money so that this person can basically insult them the whole time. It's just, and I tell you what, the stories are just it really is like Dateline NBC level stuff. Some of the things that have happened, it really is absolutely ridiculous. Or were you talking about the Tiger King? Ace. It really is. It really kind of feels like that, doesn't it? Sometimes it really is. I mean, I'm sure we haven't seen the end of this story, but they came in today and they decided they were going to brigade or troll us. I tell you what, nothing I like more than the ability to have people that are being scammed by this scam and explain to them what is actually going on and how they're being taken advantage of. Okay? Because I'm not selling anything. Well, I guess I have a Patreon, but I really consider Patreon more of a donation. And it's a cryptocurrency chart. And it says don't buy it. So it basically says don't buy Bitcoin right now. So what you going to do? Other than that, it's just a channel. I might sell indicators in the future. I know that some of you guys really want them. And I have some things that, man, I programmed something last night because it's a level 2 indicator, and I've got it so that it stores all of the information and then pulls it back up, and it's like fully extendable. So when I'm done, I will have something that not only will you have a full suite of indicators that really tell you everything that you would want to know statistically about what level 2 is doing right now, but then you will have the ability to take advantage of the algorithms that I have going underneath. And without revealing the algorithms themselves, you'll be able to take advantage of them and use them in your own indicators and to pull out the stats that you want to see. And it'll be very easy. So I'm quite proud of it. But I'd like to sell it, but I don't know. It's kind of these things. It's like I don't want to deal with having to sell things and setting the site up and everything that's involved in that. I have a infant child, and I'm focused on trading, and I want to focus on those things more. But I have some people helping me, so we may sell some indicators eventually. But right now we're not selling anything. Okay. I really is just for me about the community. And so they come in and try and troll. Like, I get the opportunity to explain what's going on, and you know what will happen is probably most people will, because we don't like being wrong, that there's going to be cognitive dissonance in there, and probably they're going to ignore me until they've lost so much money. They're going to go back and think about this and go, oh, hey, everything that Seth said was right. What happens if I start saying here in the chat that, I had this problem or that problem? You're immediately going to get attacked and kicked out. JB, I am fairly new here and I don't want to offend. Is this your full-time gig or do you have a day gig? I have a day gig. JB, you are not new. I know you. You've been around for a couple of days and you've been engaging, and I totally noticed you, and I'm glad that you're here. But I do have a day job. So what happens is I trade for the first, 3 hours basically, which is really the most active time in the markets, and where I think for us in market making is really the best opportunities for us. And then I go and I have a regular day job. Yeah, it's been maybe a week. Yeah. When you first came in, because they're bots, his name that he goes by online is John Bottomley often. And so I thought maybe it was like an alias for him at first. So that's why I noticed you so quickly. I am trying to trade and work, but boy, is it tough. It is tough. Like, honestly, you kind of have to accept the suck if you want to do this, right? Because 90% of day traders are going to lose. That's just the way it is. I think that we've done good here in our channel. I'm not going to say that everybody comes in and they're all profitable, but at least we've been able to attract the people that are really in it to be traders and are around for a long time. Because like something like 80% of traders give up within the first year. And I think now we've been streaming this almost for 3 years, and it's the same people. We're here every day. And some of them I do know are making money. They're making really good money, and they're really good at it. And kudos to you guys. When you show me your trades, it is, I'm always so proud of you guys. Daniel showed me a trade the other day, and I was like, wow, dude, that was really great. John Bottomley is my offline name too. Is it really? I thought it was just interesting. Yeah, it feels like a chop range, smaller range, like Seth was saying. Good day to set on hands and preserve capital. Yeah, I'm quite surprised how well we were able to call that. Today is the kind of day that would normally screw me up, but because of some research that we've done and other things, we were able to see it. And I was able to play it so that even though I didn't really get my trades to run as far as I wanted, I was still able to take some profits on them. And overall, I'm really happy with it. My mom won't call me Ace. She refuses to do it. That's funny. I tell you what, Ace, when they started quarantining things, my first thought was, oh crap, now I'm not going to be able to meet up with Ace. No. Okay, we got about 10 minutes. I'm going to close it down at the bottom of the hour. Let's see here. I do need to come back here and just do a little bit of housekeeping. So this one... Oh, maybe I can't actually... There it is right there. No, once I report it once, you're already good. Bum, 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 bum. There's one. There's a few more. Oh, yes. The other ones I already reported. Okay, we're good. I'm down 3,400 today. Oh man, I really hope that you're just trolling me, dude. If you really did lose a lot of money, first of all, I'm very sorry. Trading is hard, and you're gonna lose money. So my recommendation is, in the way that I would approach this, is that you really want to have some sort of a proven edge. That is some way to know that when you're trading, either that the probability of your trade winning is high enough, and that the amount that you're going to make on your winners versus the amount that you're going to lose on your losers shows a positive expectancy over time. If you don't have that yet, you should just trade at sim. Okay? Just trade at sim. I know that people want you to get trading live as quickly as possible. You know why? Because they want your money. Okay? But there's no shame in trading sim, and not even any shame in trading sim for a long time. Trade it as long as it takes for you to have a proven edge. First, you have to have a proven statistical edge. Okay? Once you have that, then you can go and you can look at actually trading it live and then developing the mental edge. Because when you trade it live, it's going to be a different thing. Okay? But developing the mental edge is going to be kind of a tough game if what you're trading is like loses all the time anyways, right? So I would say, first of all, if you lost that much, first take a break for a week or so, and then come back and trade on sim and keep very good stats. I really like Jigsaw. I think the best thing about Jigsaw is Journalytics. You can use Journalytics with other software platforms, but it's built into Jigsaw. Journalytics is great, and you can go and keep track of all your trades, and you can say, I have a setup, like when X happens, this is my setup, and so you can go. In fact, we need to do that right now. I will show you how you should do this, right? Sorry, I have to get into it first. I have to make sure that I'm not showing like account numbers or anything like that. Okay. Oh, which one was it? This one right here. Okay, cool. So you can come in here into Journalytics, and you can say, this was the trade, and I got out a little earlier than the stop, but I got better, but it got me a better. So it was good. And then I can say things like, I followed my plan. Yes, I reacted well to the market behavior. Yes, it did. I was kind of I was okay with it. Overall, I think that this was one of my better trades, so I'm really happy about it. And then I can save it. So now I can save that, and you can go back and you can do the stats for that particular trade. For this one, we've only been doing it for like 2 days, so it wouldn't really be much of a point for me to show that. But then you can go and you can say, okay, what is that probability on that trade? How much on average does it go in my favor, and how much on average does it go against me? And you can get all of your stats, keep track of that stuff, write notes down on it. And as you keep those notes, you will be able to find statistical edges from your trading, and you'll be able to find out, okay, actually, when I do this, the market tends to do this. So maybe I can actually change my strategy to take advantage of that statistical probability. And you try it and you see what happens, right? So that's what you do. Trade it with a sim account until you've established an edge. Okay? And again, I'm very sorry. Another thing is trade micro contracts. If you're going to trade at all, trade it with the micro contracts. And limit your risk. The amount, what's the maximum amount that you want to lose in a day is another thing. Okay. What software do you have and how much is it? Okay, so I am using Jigsaw, Day Trader, and NinjaTrader 8. I use NinjaTrader 8 because they have really great charts. At some point, I think Jigsaw is going to have charts, but they don't have them right now. The reason I really like Jigsaw is they have the best DOM, and I really like the DOM. The DOM, in my opinion, is the best way to enter orders. It's really an execution sort of a thing. As it's moving around, I can quickly click on which prices I want. And if I really wanted to trade a ton of contracts and manage a lot of contracts quickly, I really don't see how you would do it without a DOM. And the DOM also gives you really the best idea of what's actually going on with the volume. It's a super short-term edge and there's limitations to it, but I still think it's really valuable. So I have a whole video, which is what is the best futures trading software platform, where I talk more about why I use what I use. There is an affiliate link, so if you decide to buy Jigsaw, it helps the channel out that you use the affiliate link. But I do pretty much anybody in the industry that they're doing a platform or whatever, we're willing to do an affiliate link because we're really about the community. As long as it's not a trading room, but do not do trading rooms. Okay. Anyways, and I think if you want to buy it brand new right now, it's like $900. Which is about on par for what a platform costs. So, does it work and how much is it? Yeah. So when you say does it work, that's really not the question you should be asking, because remember, Jigsaw is a tool, and the primary advantage of Jigsaw is execution, right? My ability to pick which price I want to trade at and quickly hit into an order with a market order. Like if I want to try and buy it just as the offer gets cleared and try and catch the edge, you really have to have a DOM to be able to do that. You're just not going to do that very effectively on a chart. Okay. So it's really the execution that is the advantage. So there are people that make money with Jigsaw, and there are people that lose money with Jigsaw because it's just a tool, right? Are there any extra fees? So like most other platforms, there's a fee to be able to use it on live trades. So when you buy it, I think it's like $900 for a lifetime license. But then to enter live trades into the market, you have to have I think it's a $50 monthly subscription. Okay, which is I've actually, at first I thought, oh, that's expensive, but when I go and I look at other platforms that pretty much like trading technologies, for instance, they have a monthly fee too. So that's what it's like. And NinjaTrader actually kind of even has that, right? Or you can buy NinjaTrader monthly. Are you trading only from the DOM, or do you have PA charts as well? So I'm not 100% sure what you mean by PA charts, but I do have over here on my other screen, I have some some NinjaTrader charts. I have a volume profile up. I have a couple of things on the E-mini, And this is really nothing too fancy. It's just kind of really, it allows some indicators that I've written myself that you can go and download in the Discord downloads channel that do a really good job of showing you, what the open was of certain time periods. Like what was the open of the day? What was the open on the 5-minute bar? What was the open on the hour? That sort of thing. Okay. Oh, price action. Well, so I don't know what you would mean by price action charts, but I definitely have charts out. Price action is a significant part of trading on the DOM, because it's really about what traded, where, what was the market's reaction to it, what was the price action reaction to it. So, anyways, then this thing down here in the lower left corner that you see is the new suite of indicators that I was talking about. So you can see here in the 10-year, it shows you very well. There's a lot of offer pressure on here. Eventually they moved down. And when they moved down, you could see some big guys on the bid buying it up. So you could see that they were probably going to have to pull back a little bit. And there you can see it again. Gives you really good indications about what the market is doing at that moment. It's level 2. It's the fastest. Indicators are always going to be a little bit delayed, but level 2 tells you immediate what's happening right now. So I'm developing those. Only I have them. You didn't see my Lugrin. Only I have them. And I find them very useful, but I'm not trading off of that right now. I'm practicing a strategy that's been shared with me, and we're trying to get good at that strategy. So we're focusing only on that right now. Downloads channel. Yeah. So if you go into the video description, there's a link for Discord. And then in that Discord, there's a channel called Downloads where I've put indicators and other things that are free. This price action any good when down 3,400. Well, listen, especially you said you were trading NQ. I've seen people lose a lot more than 3,000 on NQ. That's pretty crazy. Okay. What's your average profit daily? Well, so I don't know if that's the metrics that I'm honestly not sure with this particular strategy that I'm trading right now that I could really give you a number that would really give you a good idea of what's possible with it, because we've only been trading it in this crazy environment, right? So it's been very easy for us to catch 10-point swings in the E-mini. Like we caught a 10-point swing this morning. I don't think that it's going to be like that forever. So to see like what your average profit that you're going to get is kind of But I will tell you that the stats so far, we're catching like our winners are 4 times the size of our losers. And when I'm trading poorly, we're hitting like 30%. So I think as I get better at it, I thought I did a good job today. I think that we can bring that winning percentage up, and maybe it will be over 50. I don't know. So I guess you can kind of use that. And like I said, expectancy. Look it up. Expectancy, one of the most important things that you need to know as a trader. Average winner times the win percentage minus average loser times the losing percentage equals your expectancy. You need to know that your winners make more than your losers and that it's a positive system. You'll find people that will have a system where their average loser is much larger than their average winner, and it's very difficult to have a positive expectancy with that because you have to have a very high win rate. You should also factor in commissions into that equation. So at the end, minus total number of trades times commissions. Gotcha? If you spam me, I'll kill all your goldfish. Oh, please don't spam Ace. He's such a good trader. I tell you what, Ace shared some strategies with me, and I made some good money off of it. I'm having problems trading it in this market because of the range, and it's such a short-term scalp. But when things calm down, I think that we'll go back to trading that because it worked really well for us. What else do we got here? Do you do your trades live? So, well, I mean, everything that you see while we're trading here, I'm live streaming it. not every order that I take is going to be a live trade, and I've kind of gotten to the point where I don't tell you guys if it's a live trade or not, but it seems like somehow chat seems to know when I'm trading live and when I'm not. It kind of just depends on the market, if I actually feel like I can put my money at risk and stuff. But like I said earlier, my primary goal with this was to get better at trading and to build a community, and so that's the primary thing. I think one of the things that we have a tendency to do is we want to go in and we say, okay, I want to go and find this guy that he's making money, and then I want to take what he's doing and copy it. And yeah, I of all people know better than anybody else that doesn't work, because we have such a successful channel. People will come and show me their edges, like literally every day. People will message me, show me charts and trades that they've made and how they trade. And if I go back and I try and trade it, it's very often that it doesn't work, because their system was specific to them and the way that their mind works. And if you get too many people trading a specific edge, then that kind of destroys the edge of it. So really what you want to do is you want to go and find your own edge. It's hard for me to trade and then everybody can see how I'm doing it. And that kind of makes things a little bit more difficult for me. That's why I've kind of been trying to go for bigger trades. But that's kind of the way that it works out. How do you trade with no charts? You watch it. The definitive work on how to trade with the DOM is nobsdaytrading.com. And they have a small little course, I think is like $90 or something like that, but very much worth it. I'm not going to say he has some setups in there. If you trade those setups exactly like he has them in the book, I don't think that you would make money. They're probably not. And I don't think that he put them in there with the intention of saying like, this is the way that you should trade it, but rather as an example of this is the game that's going on so that you can understand it, analyze it, and make your own trades. But that explains how it works if you're interested in that. Okay, so it is now 9:38. I have to go. Thank you guys so much. What should we call this? What should we call this day? We get Bridgaded. Let's see here. We get Bridgaded and Redpill scamming victims. That's what I think I'm calling it. If you come up with if you have a better name, let me know. So we can change it after the fact. Yeah, I think that's what we're going to call it. We get Bridgaded and Redpill scam victims. For any of you guys that have lost money to somebody that sold you a system that doesn't work, or software that really wasn't worth what they claimed it was, trolling for profits is our factor, right? I feel bad. You know what? It happens, and here's the thing, is that there's a lot of traps that we fall into, cognitive dissonance, that ego, the sorts of things that scammers take advantage of when they lie to us to take money from us dishonestly. It's not your fault. Okay, it can happen to the smartest people, because they really are taking advantage of the way that our brains work as humans. So if you've lost money, don't beat yourself up too hard about it, right? Here's how you got to do it. Create a system, keep stats on it, find statistical abnormalities in the markets and take advantage of them with strict defined trading rules. And it's tough work, and don't get into it unless you really enjoy trading. All right? I'll see you guys tomorrow. And in the meantime, stay profitable.